Hello everyone, I can see there's quite a few of you here already. Thank you for joining us. I'm Hannah Martin from Talent Ladies Club. I'm just going to check that Kara is here and there she is. Make her a panelist so she can talk to you.
Morning,
Brilliant.
Hannah.
Hi Kara, I've just turned your video on, so thank you everyone. Hello, there you are. So for everyone, this is Kara Stanford. She is an award-winning marketing consultant, and I know you work with Watertight Marketing. So I am going to hand over to Kara to share her presentation with you all. She's going to talk you through how to create your marketing roadmap. And I have to say, I've done the Watertight Marketing program and followed this roadmap, and it is brilliant. So I am going to switch off in a second. But first, can I just check that everyone can see and hear? Oh, Cheryl's here, fellow Watertight marketer. Hello, Rosalind. Hi, Jean. Can everyone see and hear both Kara and I? And can they see Kara's screen? If you can just type, yes, I can see. Brilliant. Cheryl can see. Yes, Jean can see. Brilliant. Fantastic. If anyone has any questions, and I know I've had a couple emailed in, please do ask in chat. Fantastic. Carolyn and Helen, thank you for letting me know. You can see as well. If you ask in chat throughout, and I could put your questions to Kara at the end. And I know I've worked with Kara and she is an amazing source of knowledge on marketing. I would really take this opportunity to ask Kara some questions. So I am going to hand over to Kara. I'm going to turn my video off and mute myself so I'm not distracting. But if there's any problems, I will jump back on. So I'll hand over to you, Kara.
All right, thank you very much, Hannah. Thank you for inviting me to do this webinar, and thank you very much, everybody, for attending. I'm going to stop my video too, and I'm going to work through the presentation. As Hannah said, do please ask questions in the chat, and then we'll come to them at the end. So, very quickly, a little bit about me. So my name's Kara Stanford. As you know, I'm a Watertight Marketing accredited consultant, and I'm a chartered marketer. So being a chartered marketer means that quite a while ago now, I studied all of my marketing theory, got my exams, and I now keep that knowledge and theory up to date. Being a Watertight Marketing accredited consultant means that I am trained and licensed to use this award-winning methodology and marketing approach with my clients where appropriate. And today, a lot of what I'm going to share with you is based on the work of Bryony Thomas, who devised the Watertight Marketing methodology and approach. Let's crack on then. Aims. By the end of this webinar, I will have shared with you some key marketing concepts, a framework for structuring your marketing. You will then have a clear, structured way to methodically plan and implement your marketing. So it helps people in your market make a purchase decision. I am all about giving you control and helping you understand how to formulate your marketing so that it works for you. First, I want to establish who the most important people in your marketing are. They are your clients. I know we say this, and you've probably heard this a lot, and I've certainly heard it a lot, but very often when I work with businesses, that gets lost along the way. And I think in particular, when it's our own business, when I'm working with owners of the businesses, we kind of lose sight a little bit sometimes of the clients, and we have to keep coming back to who are the most important people on our marketing. So this morning, as I go through everything, I am going to bring us back to that, and I am going to be saying, but you've got to think about this from your prospective customer's point of view, from your customer's point of view. Let's have a look at how a small to medium-sized business typically operates. So what we have is on the vertical axis, money being spent or money being earned, and on the right-hand side, on the horizontal axis, apologies, we have time. And as you can see, we've got a dotted line, and that shows sales results. So where the dotted line is up, sales results, that's where we've got clients. And it's really exciting. We've got clients. Hooray! Somebody actually wants to buy my goods or services. Oh my goodness, but I've got clients. I've got too much time. I can't focus. I can't do marketing. Quick, all hands to the deck, all hands to the deck. Deal with the clients, deal with the clients. And you'll see that that solid line of marketing activity drops down. And what happens when you don't do marketing? Well, what happens eventually is you look up and the client work starts to fade away and you get less busy, and you can see that dotted line going down. And you look onto the horizon, you go, oh gosh, we've got nothing in the pipeline. We've got no clients. Oh my goodness, we're not going to have any money next month. What's going on? Quick, everybody, quick, change track, change tack. Do marketing, do marketing. So then there's this frantic period of marketing activity. And normally that frantic period of marketing activity leads to getting more clients in, leads to more customers, leads to more sales. Wonderful news. But oh my goodness, you're now really, really, really busy. So you don't have time to do marketing. So it drops off. You can see this if you look at this graph, and I've worked with so many clients where I've just literally gone back through their accounts, looked at their spend on marketing, looked at their turnover, and I have mapped this diagram. It's called yo-yo marketing, and it is utterly exhausting. It's also really inefficient. Because as you can see, you never really take off. You're never really getting long-term sales growth. So what should we be aiming for? What we should be aiming for is watertight marketing. Now look at these two arrows. You can see that the marketing activity slowly but consistently increases over time. Slowly but consistently. But it always is there. It's always happening. It's not yo-yoing up and down. And what's happened to these sales results, these clients, these customers? They're slowly but steadily increasing, and it's an upward trajectory. That's what you need to be aiming for. And I am going to draw your attention to the bottom left of the graph. The sharp-eyed amongst you would have noticed that what happens at first is you are spending time and effort and money on marketing on that thick line, and nothing is happening. No sales results are coming in. I always call this the hold your breath gap, because it's terrifying. Nothing is happening. And that is what it will be like to start. When you start making your marketing more watertight and improving it, it will seem that nothing is happening. Now, fitness is a really good analogy for this. Years ago, I learned how to run, and it was hideous. So the first time I ran a mile, and I ran it slower than if I'd walked backwards and blindfolded. And by the end, I honestly thought I was going to die. I thought I was going to vomit. I couldn't breathe. I was bent over double. It was utterly hideous. And then I stuck at it, and I was going 3 times a week, and each time it was just awful. And for 4 weeks, it was hideous. I was running slower than I walked. I just thought, this is no good, no good. And then in week 4, something amazing happened. I ran 3 miles. I ran it faster than I walked, which wasn't that fast. I ran it faster than I walked. I didn't feel sick. I felt fit. I felt happier. And that's what happens when you start to systematically and methodically approach your marketing. At first, nothing happens, and it's really disheartening, but you have to stick with it. And then as those sales come in, you stick with the marketing, and slowly over time, that upward trajectory of sales happens for you. And that's how you get long-term sustainable sales. So let's find out how you do that. First of all, if you have a pen and paper in front of you, I'd like you to draw a line, this line in fact. And this line is called the considered purchase continuum. And it's the line that makes us start with the most important people in our marketing, our customers. On the left-hand side, we have low-risk impulse buy. Now, this is a type of thing you buy in an impulse, buy in a flash. Things, it might be as simple as, I'm thirsty, I need a drink. I've walked into M&S at Winchester train station. Oh, look, I'll have the kiwi lime and avocado smoothie. See it, want it, buy it, done. Easy. Right-hand side, high-risk considered purchase. We purchased a house recently. And that is high risk. That's really considered. We took our time over that. At the right-hand side of the continuum, there's a lot of pausing, a lot of reflecting. You need to take on information, and it could take days, weeks, months, or perhaps even longer to make this purchase. So start having a think. Where your products and services lie on this continuum is really important. I'm going to show you how to map where your products and services lie. And to do that, we have to look at 3 different criteria. The first is money. On the left-hand side, it's money you can afford to lose. I can tell you right now that my kiwi lime and avocado smoothie from M&S was pretty revolting. So I lost £1.95. Fine. Wasn't happy, whatever. £1.95, that's fine. On the right-hand side, it's a significant investment. So that means it's a significant risk if it's not a good decision. Or it could be an ongoing financial commitment that lies here too. It could be that, so for example, let's take the house purchase. If that had gone horribly, horribly wrong, we're talking about mine and my family's savings. We're talking about the roof over our head. We're talking about a lot of money that I cannot afford to lose. So what I would like you to do is to think about your customers and think about when they buy from you, is it money that they can afford to lose? Or is it a significant investment for them? Where does it lie? And can you put a mark on that line? And you have to think about this from your customer's point of view. Bryony Thomas from Watertight Marketing always says that she was astounded to learn that people buy Bentleys on a whim. Now, I'm not in that category. So this is, but some of your customers might be. So think about it from their point of view. The second criteria is the number of people affected by the decision. So a low risk impulse buy, normally it's just one person. It's the person buying it. They're buying it, they're consuming it. They've made the purchase decision. They own the purse strings. Job done, easy. Left-hand side. On the right-hand side of the continuum, it's a much more considered purchase that other people are affected by the decision. I work with a lot of clients who operate in the business-to-business sector. So it's not just the person that's buying from them that is affected. It might be their team if they're buying a piece of software from them, because their team will have to use that software. It will certainly affect the IT team, because that IT team will have to support that piece of software. And the finance director certainly gets involved because he wants to know why that piece of software is being bought. Lots and lots of people involved. On a personal level, let's take the buying a house example. That wasn't just me, that was me, that was my husband. Our parents felt that they had a say in it. Our daughter certainly felt that she had a say in it. Who did it affect? It affected us, but it also affected other people. Lots more to think about. And the more people that are involved and the more people that are affected by that purchase decision, the higher the risk and the more considered the purchase. So again, could you put a little line, a little dot on that line with regards to how many people are affected by the decision to purchase the goods or services from you. The third criteria is comes down to logic or emotion. The heart representing emotion, the cog representing logic. Because when we make a purchase decision, we're either using logic, emotion, or both. By emotion, let's look at the impulse buy. An emotional thing might be, see a handbag, love it, buy it. As simple as that. Just, I want it, I like it, I can do it. A logical emotion might be, my kettle just broke, I need the kettle, I just have to get on and buy it. Great, done. Either or at the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, the high-risk considered purchase, we have logic and emotion coming into play. I'll take the software example. So the software example is, right, we need a piece of software that does X, Y, and Z. And we need it at this price to fit with our budget. And we need it to fit in with A, B, and C system we already have. Logic. Emotion. If I get this wrong, that's my team that are going to be working with a piece of software that's not right for them. We've got an example in the news at the moment. TSB got it wrong. The people that made that purchase decision, I wonder how they're feeling emotionally. IBM used to run a campaign called Nobody Got Fired for choosing IBM. That was appealing to emotion. That was appealing to those emotions of, right, you're worried, is this the right decision? Are we the right choice? Yes, we are. Because you know that if you make the wrong choice, this could be your career on the line. This could be your reputation. So now have a think. Place your third mark on this line and think, with your customers, is it a pure emotion or pure logic purchase, or does it involve logic and emotion? What you should now have is 3 marks on your line. Please take the mark that is to the furthest right, and that will tell you how considered a purchase your customers are making when they buy from you. And that will give you an idea also of how risky this purchase is for them. I've got here some that were done earlier. So you can see, left-hand side, tissues, envelopes, chocolate, cake. You know, you buy those kind of things. I bought some envelopes recently. They were terrible. I was annoyed because, you know, got them out of the bag. They didn't do what I needed them to do. £2 wasted a bit of my time. Damn it. Then at the other end, health retreat, CRM system, a mortgage. In the middle, perhaps a cold remedy, paper supplies. Might be an hour's coaching with someone and you didn't quite like them. They didn't quite do what you need to do. Oh, well, it was an hour, £95 is gone. So have a think about where your customers are on the continuum when they're purchasing from you. So why is this important? Why have I made you go through this exercise? Why? Here's why. Because when people buy something, they go through certain steps and stages. And the more low risk the purchase and the more impulse it is, the quicker you make that purchase decision. It is literally see it, need it, want it, buy it, done, consumed, over with. At the other end though, for that high risk considered purchase, people take longer. This is called their buying journey. And the buying journey involves more steps where they're stopping and pausing at each step. On the left-hand side, you can see that marketing only really has to match 2 steps. On the right-hand side, marketing has more steps to match. Not sure what I mean? Let's look at this. 2 steps. Become aware of it, purchase it, consume it, done, dusted. Right-hand side. Oh, become aware of it. Is it the right choice? Do I want this? I need to suss it out. I need to have a look at it, move backwards and forwards. And what we're finding on the right-hand side is for every step forward that people are taking in their buying journey, there has to be some marketing there to match it, to help them. And if you don't have your marketing in place to help your potential customers along the journey to buy from you, then you've effectively got a hole that they can fall through. Even worse, if some of your competitors have put out the information they need, they might hop over to their competitors. I heard a beautiful example that illustrated this recently of somebody who wanted to purchase a new car. You know, a woman went into a garage and she said that, you know, she saw the car she wanted. She had done a bit of research offline, found the car, there it was. And the sales guys were just patronising, rude, unhelpful, didn't call her back. What did she do? She went to a garage 20 miles up the road, bought pretty much exactly the same car, but from somebody that was much more polite to her. So she'd hopped out of one buying process journey, one set of stepping stones, and hopped onto somebody else's. We don't want that to happen with you. We want people to stay with you through their journey as they make their purchase. The journey that they take is this. Now, some of you have probably seen this model before. It's been turned into a sales funnel, a marketing funnel, a business development funnel. It's been iterated in many different ways. It's based on a 1950s 69 model by Philip Kotler, who is marketing god, and he mapped out the broad stages that we all go through when making a purchase decision. What Bryony Thomas from Watertight Marketing did was she developed it in 2013, and she developed it after working with over 250 small to medium-sized businesses and realizing that their customers were going through these steps. If it's an impulse purchase that your customers are making, so the left-hand side of the continuum, they'll whiz through this buying process. The time to go through it is really short. If it's more of a considered purchase, they stop and pause at each of these stages. And these are the stages that we're going to look at today that you need to have something in place at. These are the stepping stones that I just showed you. Let me go back. And if you don't have something in place at every single one of these stages, you have a gap. And you have a gap that people could fall through and fall out of your buying process. And even worse, hop onto someone else's. There's another very important aspect to this buying process that Bryony Thomas developed. And she identified that there are 13 key places where businesses typically leak customers out of their buying process. You can see them mapped on here. These 13 touch point leaks have to be plugged. Because if they aren't plugged, you are literally wasting your money on marketing. I'm not going to look at the 13 leaks today, but please do buy a copy of Watertight Marketing where it goes into more detail there, or visit the website where you can find out more about each of the leaks. What I'm interested in today is helping you structure your marketing so you have something in place at every single step of the buying process. So let's spend time looking at this model in depth and what you need to put in place. Cause and effect. First, we need to understand what's happening. If we understand cause and effect, then we can influence it. And in this case, effect is a purchase decision. And what we need to do is understand what is influencing that purchase decision. What a lot of organizations have in place is some kind of sales process, and the sales process has labels. It has labels such as the audience, the respondents, leads, proposals, sales, and then renewals. Great. These are internal labels. They're labels that work for us as salespeople, but they're not necessarily helpful labels because they don't tell us what our buyers are doing. For that, we need other labels. We need these labels. Our audience will see it, see our products, see our services, see us. As they respond, they become respondents because they've liked it. They might become a lead where they're asking us for a proposal because they've sussed it out. At that stage when they become a proposal or we've given them something, they're trying it out. Then they make that purchase. Yay, they're buying it. And then as they become a renewal, a loyal customer, it's because they love it. Those are the actions of the customers, the most important people in our marketing. But what does this mean? How does this map to their thought processes? It's that again, keeps cropping up. What this shows us is that at the awareness stage, we have an audience of people who have seen it. They're interested in what's going on because they like it, and so they've become respondents. They're evaluating our products and services. Are they the right choice for them? Should they make that decision? They're sussing it out, and that's when they could become a lead. At the trial stage, they might be trying us out, and that's when they might request a proposal. At the adoption stage, that's when they buy it, and that's when we get a sale. And it doesn't stop there. And this is something that Bryony really emphasized that a lot of other marketers didn't. You do not stop at the sale, because you carry on through and you want them to feel loyal to you, your product, your service, because they love it. And that's where you get renewals and repeat business. It's quite a bit to take in. Let's carry on though. What do you actually have to do? As the person looking after the marketing in your business, what are the marketing tasks that you need to put into place at each of these steps? Let's go through them in some detail. These are 6 tasks of marketing. So we're at the awareness stage and they have to see it. Your marketing is you have to be there. It's kind of as simple as that, to be honest, because if you are not there, they will not become aware of you. You have to be where they are looking. Go back to them. And so often I get asked questions like, oh, should I be on Twitter? Should I be on Facebook? And my response is boringly always the same. Are your clients there? You have to be where they are so they see you. And if you don't know if they are there, then do some research. And you might have the answers yourself based on your own research. You know, if you're running AdWords, if you've got SEO, if you've got Google Analytics hooked up to your website, if you can see the keywords people are typing in, if you can look at your social media engagement, that might give you clues. So the research might be going through your own business and seeing, well, actually, where are people seeing us? In the bad old days when I first started marketing before digital marketing, we had to base things on things like circulation. You know, it's like, right, we'll put an advert in this magazine and we know that it has 10,000 subscribers, so we can assume that 10,000 people have seen it. We know that it's a magazine about this type of thing, so that would do. I remember it used to be the kind of big thing that we always wanted to get the billboard that was outside Bristol Temple Meads railway station, because you knew that 10,000 people were going past that every hour, so you could assume that had 10,000 eyeballs. The point was, though, it was awareness. We wanted people to see our stuff. Still applies. Your marketing at this point is to be there, but be in the right place. If you're not in the right place, if you're not where your clients are, your prospective clients are, you're wasting your money. It's as simple as that. Your next task is when they start showing interest. So you put something out there and they think, oh, saw that, that was interesting. I liked that. And that's because it's relevant. Saw a blog title. So at the moment, let's take something, GDPR, it's everywhere. So obviously I'm a marketer, I'm interested in things that relate to the GDPR and marketing. So I will see something that will say 10 GDPR must-haves for marketers. Oh, saw that. That looks relevant to me. I'll have a better look. I'm moving through that buying process. I'm moving through that buying funnel. Then sometimes what happens to me is I'll think, yeah, I like that. That looks interesting. I click on it. And then what I get is 5 pages of waffle and not my 10 tips that I signed up for. And what do? I bounce right back out. So I have bounced off and I am back up at the top of the funnel. Even worse, I became aware of them and they irritated me. You don't want to be doing that to your customers. So when you put things out there, you have to make sure that your next step is in place and that your next step is relevant. So you've done that. It's beautiful. It's relevant. People have clicked through. They like it. They're interested in what you've got to say. Now they're ready to make a purchase decision. They're thinking, yeah, that looks good. I might want that. What they're doing now is they're sussing you out. The evaluation stage is where we are literally maybe comparing our options and saying, well, should I buy this? Should I use this person? Should I use this service? What are my options? Why should I choose them? And at this stage, your job is to be proven. And this is where things like case studies, testimonials, reviews are really, really, really useful. You need to systematically prove every single claim you make. This product is going to save you £10 a month in electricity bills. Here's the proof. Here are the calculations that's based on. This product will make your life easier. Here are the testimonials. Here are the case studies. Can you prove it? And if you don't have proof at this stage, you're going to lose people. They're going to hop out. They're going to go to somebody that perhaps has got the proof. They're going to move to another place. The next stage is trial. So somebody is still with you on their buying journey. They're thinking, yeah, actually, I've sussed this person out. I've looked at all the alternatives. And do remember, an alternative is always do nothing. So an alternative to buying your product or service is nothing. Don't buy anything, or instead just carry on as you are. That's always one of your competitors. But you've moved through, they've thought, yeah, I really like this company. I want to purchase from them. But the further you are on the right-hand side of that buying continuum, the more likely they are to pause there. But I'm not going to give you all my money at once. I'm going to test you out. I'm going to see how you go. At this stage, you have to be helpful. I've got a lovely example. I was speaking to a graphic designer I know, and he said, I'm really busy at the moment. I mean, that's great. And he said, yes, I had lots of small jobs at the beginning of the year, you know, kind of, oh, can you just design us a letterhead? And he was like, okay, fine. He said, I had about 3 of those, and I did that. And they've now come back and gone, great. Well, now we need a 20-page brochure, a rebrand, a business card, and they've given him massive chunks of work. And what they were doing was they were trialing him out. They were seeing if he could do what they needed him to do in the way that they wanted him to do it. And at this stage, you have to be helpful. It could have been so easy for him to think, ooh, a letterhead. Seriously? All right, I'll knock that out. Do my best, whatever. But he wasn't. He treated it as professionally as he treats the larger pieces of work. He was helpful. He was showing them what he was capable of doing. He was treating them with the same level of professionalism and courtesy as he does bigger clients. And they became bigger clients. I did this recently. I purchased some food online, and it was from a company that I'd been, been recommended in a Facebook group I hang out in. So that was the awareness stage. And I'd gone onto their website and I liked what they were all about. I kind of looked at alternatives, couldn't really find some, to be honest. It was buying nuts and seeds without using plastic packaging. I thought, do you know what? People have said that these guys are good, but I just want to check it out. So I'm only going to spend £30 with them. Only going to, a small amount of money. So if the products turn up and they're a bit naff, it's going to be annoying. If they're not as good as they say they are, if they don't deliver when they say, I'm going to be pretty irritated and I won't use them again. I was trying them out. And as it happened, everything was delivered. I was very, very happy. And I'm thinking, oh, excellent. I am going to do what they suggest, which their suggestion is once every 2-3 months, do a massive bulk buy. Great, brilliant. I tried them out. So at this stage, be helpful. Be as helpful as you would be for someone that's turned up with a great big piece of work, because they might be trying you out. And then the next stage is where they buy your product. They buy the main product. The product that's going to make you the money, the product where you're actually getting a return on your investment, return on sales. And here, be friendly. Have you ever bought something and then had that, oh my God, was that the right choice? I'm not sure if that was a good decision. What's happened now? It's called buyer's remorse. Post-purchase dissonance is the posh marketing phrase for it. Buyer's remorse. And the bigger the purchase, the bigger the remorse. It's that kind of, should I have done it? And what you need to do at this point is, the reason you need to be friendly is because there is nothing worse than going through a buying process with someone and then you give them your credit card details, you hand the money over, and just communication stops. Nothing happens. You don't know what's going on. It's like the equivalent of going to buy that new car and you hand the money over and they say, oh, there'll be a 3-week wait, and you walk out the showroom and go, okay. And then you get nothing. You're there thinking, just handed somebody 15 grand plus the ongoing payments. I've not heard anything. What's happening? This is also called, Bryony calls this the welcome window. And it's at this point where you prove that you're friendly. It's a thanks ever so much for your order. We told you that it's going to take, a few weeks to dispatch. So just in the meantime, here are some of the things that you can do to get ready for your new car. Thanks for your order. You bought our piece of software. You've downloaded it after the 30-day free trial. So we're going to send you once a week a helpful video to get you started. And then at the end of your first month, we're just going to phone you up and say, how have you got on with it? This was not what happened with me when I purchased some software recently. It was all salespeople calling me every day to help me figure out how to use it in my 30-day free trial. Signed up because it was so good, and then I had a query and it came back as most of our customers are really satisfied. Oh, really? Well, this one isn't. Thanks. Be friendly. Reassure them they've made the right purchase decision. Years and years ago, when I first qualified as a marketer, I was looking at adverts for BMW cars in magazines, and I was thinking, these are strange adverts. These are strange awareness adverts. What's going on here? You know, they don't tell you much about the product, the service. You know, it's just like this car in a kind of dark room with a bit of a spotlight looking really sexy. What's that all about? I then realised that the adverts, they weren't aimed particularly at awareness. They were aimed at the adoption stage. They were aimed at reducing post-purchase dissonance. Because what those adverts are saying is, you've bought our car. You're really sexy because you've bought our car. Yeah, you're cool. You're the man. That's what those adverts are aimed at. So you've got to think, what are you doing at this stage to reassure those people that have made that purchase decision with you that that was the right choice? And finally, but not least, what we want is loyalty. We want people to love what they're getting from us. We want them to love the service, to love the products. And to get loyalty, you have to do all of the above all of the time. You have to be friendly, helpful, proven, relevant, and there all of the time. And so often what I see when I go into businesses is I see people forgetting about current clients or past clients because they've moved on to the next one. But actually, look at what it has taken you to help somebody get all the way from being aware of your business, your product, your service, all the way through to adoption. Look at how much effort you have put in and money you have put in, and look at how much effort they've put in. And then we lose them. That's ridiculous. We think it, you know, somehow it's kind of become the thing that it's more efficient to get new clients. Look at it. Just look at that diagram and you can just see it's not. It's much better for the ones that you have to love you, to remain loyal. And it might be, say, I've only got a product that can be used once off. That's absolutely fine. But then they can become your advocates. Yeah, you've absolutely got to use this company if you're buying a house. You know, most of us only buy a house once every few years. Yeah, no, you've absolutely got to use this estate agent. They were really helpful. They knew their stuff. They did what they needed to do. They become your advocates. They start doing your awareness for you. They start providing some of your evaluation for you. So that's the 6 tasks of marketing. The next steps really are over to you. What I would suggest is that you set up and map your marketing activities against the buying process, against awareness, interest, evaluation, trial, adoption, and loyalty. And you make sure you have something in place at every single step. And the more considered the purchase was, the more you were on the right-hand side, the more things you are going to need in place, because the longer it will take somebody to make that purchase decision. And if you do nothing else, when you're looking at your marketing, think, is this an awareness piece of marketing? Is this an interest piece? Is it evaluation, trial, adoption, or loyalty? Where does it fit in? I would also recommend that you download your free e-copy of Watertight Marketing. There was a link at the end of my blog on the Talented Ladies Club. You can get support. Do please visit watertightmarketing.com for more information about some of the programs that they run. So Hannah's already mentioned that she did Watertight Marketing Master Plan. There's Members Plus, which for £35 a month plus VAT, I think, you get a monthly dose of marketing clarity, being able to attend a live webinar, or you can join a regional marketing masterclass. They're currently running in Winchester, Bristol, London, and Birmingham. And if you'd like to find out a little bit more about what I do, visit KMS Marketing. Follow me on Twitter, and I'm also on Facebook and LinkedIn. And on my website, I do put up a regular blog full of free information and advice. But I would say, if you do nothing else, please, please, please embed this on your brain. This is what is going to help you improve your marketing. Start thinking of your marketing in stages, and start thinking of the journey your customers take to purchase from you in stages, and have something at every single step of the way. So it's now time for some questions. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much, Cara. That was brilliant. I absolutely love the whole Watertight stage, and I can't recommend the book enough to anybody. I know lots about marketing from my career, and it was still, I would say, the most comprehensive book on marketing and the most simple to understand book on marketing at the same time. And this process is fantastic. And when you understand it, it stops you really worrying about why your marketing isn't working. Because you can see it really clearly, and too many of us do, and I know I was guilty of this in the past. You focus on all in the awareness, and then you try and get them to buy, and you think all someone needs to do is know your product exists, and they're going to want it because you know your product is brilliant, or your service. But when you understand that someone's got to go through all these stages, even if you're their ideal customer or you're the ideal product, and it really helps you to feel much better about it. But loads of Francis and Sophie and Roz, lots of
thank you very much, everyone. I'm
really
you.
If you have any questions for Cara about marketing in general, or specifically about this process, and maybe you've got a question about your own business and how where you are on that scale between a considered purchase and an impulse buy, or if you're wondering why your marketing's not working, please do ask Cara right now. We did have a question emailed in from a lady who has a business that, having a look at her business to help me understand context here, she thinks that SEO and paid search are the things that she needs to do to build her business up. Basically, she has a site that has looks like holiday cottages and things in Scotland that you can rent. And is that the case? And how best does she do that?
So she's wondering, is SEO and AdWords the right tool for her? So I think the first thing is positioning it and saying, well, actually, they're awareness tools. So that's just one part of the journey. And it goes back to what I said right at the beginning is, are your customers there? Is that how your clients are looking for you? And if it is how your clients are looking for your product and service, when it comes to SEO and AdWords, what are they actually typing in? And you know, she might already have Google Analytics set up on her website so she can have a look and see what they're typing in and see which the most popular options are. But it's saying, right, let's go back to, are my clients doing that? How do I know they're doing that? Is it a best guess? Is it based on research? Is it based on talking to other businesses? Is it based on my own thing? How do I know that? And then also thinking, where else might they be? I really love an analogy that Bryony Thomas of Watertight Marketing uses when it comes to awareness. And she says, you've got to imagine it's like a three-legged stool where you need to have three elements of it. And as with a stool, you take one of the legs away, it all crashes down. So for all of you that are doing awareness marketing, think of your awareness and marketing activities. You have to be in three different places. It's also called triangulation. And one of the other Watertight accredited consultants, Rosalind Conkey, she recently did an NLP practitioner's course. And she was saying the power of three is a kind of well-known neurological fact. She's still yet to brief me on why this is the case. But she said, now I get why triangulation and being in three places is so important to the human brain. So for that lady, first of all, she's looking at, I'd say one option there. So she needs to look at two more. And she needs to realize that that is awareness. What she got in place for interest. What happens now? So they type that search term in, what comes up? They see that ad word, that Google ad pop up. What's the kind of, you know, the text underneath that's going to make them go, yeah, that's relevant. That's exactly what I'm after. She has to think, what's the next step after the awareness?
Absolutely. And as you were saying with the whole journey, is that you can put, and a lot of us do, we put all of our energy and our money and our time into awareness. And we don't think that, especially, with a considered purchase, that even if it's a bit like the analogy I love is dating. You go on a blind date, and the person who's on the blind date with you is your soulmate, or if you believe in that, your potential life partner. If they ask you to marry them on that first date,
get them back off.
Yes, because you haven't sussed them out. You haven't seen them on several dates. Your family hasn't met them yet. You don't know what they're like when they're grumpy and when they're happy, and you haven't got used to their funny ways. And so even if they're the perfect match for you, and they ask you to marry them on the first date, you wouldn't say yes.
Yeah. You have to go through that journey, and that's what Kotler identified back in '59. He identified that when we're making these purchase decisions, we have to go on this journey. And the other thing that's terrifying, to be honest, as a marketer, is people do it at their own pace. So I was at a networking group yesterday, and we were talking about the length of time it takes for our clients to work through that journey and buy from us. And one woman said, I had somebody who's just emailed me saying, 5 years ago, I heard you speak at a seminar. You were brilliant. Can I come and see you? It's like, it took 5 years for that person to go from awareness to interest to kind of evaluation. 5 years. But that's because sometimes a purchase decision isn't right. So I meet people, I meet businesses who I know that I'm not right for them at this stage. But it's possible that in 2, 3, 4 years' time, when their business is at a different stage, I'm right for them. And so my job is to make sure that at that awareness and interest stage, I'm always there, and I'm always showing them that I'm relevant to what they're doing, so that when they're ready, they can hop into my buying process and carry on through the journey with me.
Absolutely.
And it is terrifying though, folks. I'm really sorry.
And I find that as well. I had someone buy something recently, and they said that they'd come just over 4 years ago. I did our first ever exhibition at the Work and Family Show at the London Excel, and they'd come there and seen me there, and then 4 years later. And I absolutely agree with that. And I would say, to answer this lady's question, I think SEO and paid search can be important as part of the awareness, but unless you've worked out the rest of the journey and you have all of that in place and you know what is going to happen, I would be really wary of investing. And this is a mistake we made really early on. We paid for Google AdWords, and we didn't even have anything to sell, actually. We were just paying for traffic at that time. But we didn't really understand how someone's journey went. So it was just wasted money, because people would come to our site once and just clicked off. If you're going to come to your site, and it's probably quite disheartening if you don't understand this, and you invest in great SEO, and you invest in AdWords, and then people aren't buying off you. Because if you don't understand the things you need to have in place and the time that's going to take someone to buy from you, you can't stick at it. So I personally wouldn't invest in awareness marketing if I'm paying for it until I understood that buying journey and I had everything in place. So I knew if I was going to pay for someone to come to my site, I could get a fair idea of what they were going to do and make sure I've got the marketing to match.
I think it's definitely, you have to have the next steps in place. And one of the things I do say to startups is, with startups, you've got to imagine you're like Roadrunner. You've just got to make sure you're laying out the steps before your customers reach them on the journey. So, and that's not an ideal state to be. Ideally, we'd want to stop, pause and do it. But if that's a position you find yourself in, you find yourself just keep 2, 3, 4 steps ahead if you can't do it in a methodical, structured way.
Absolutely. We've got a couple of questions here. So Rosalind asks, at the beginning of your talk, you were talking about the lag between setting your marketing up and getting sales. How long would you expect this period to be?
Again, it depends on your customers. It depends on the length of the buying journey. It depends on what you've got in place already, what you're selling, where it is on the continuum. So if you were selling something so say people would take a year to make a purchase decision from you, well, then you've got to think from your first awareness to adoption could take a year. It could be as long as that. So that's where getting an idea of how long the buying journey is really, really important, because then it helps you set your expectations. So I tend to work with a lot of B2B businesses, so business to business, and we know that we're working on a cycle of at least 12 months. At least 12 months from awareness to a purchase decision.
And it also depends on how you kind of market to them. So to give an example of this working in practice, a couple of years ago when we first launched our Twitter course, I started a marketing campaign, and I hadn't done Watertight Marketing then, so I didn't really understand the stages of the process. And I put some marketing out, and I thought it was going to last about 2 weeks, and I had all these wonderful things in place, and no one bought.
Okay.
And I even gave money off offers, and no one bought. And I became really disheartened, thinking, what's wrong with my product? What's wrong with my marketing? What's wrong with my customers? Why isn't this working? And then after 8 weeks of trying to do things, I did a webinar. And I shared advice on Twitter, and then I did a time limited offer, and I had 45 sales in the space of 2 days. And when I looked at the people who bought, a lot of them had been on that marketing journey from the beginning, and so I was then selling it at full price with a bonus, but they hadn't bought it when it was cheaper. They hadn't bought it with a money off offer. And then I realized that actually those people had needed that 8 weeks to hear about the product, to understand it, to evaluate it. And by sheer chance, by accident, the webinar had then ended up being like a trial. It'd been a trial of experiencing what it was like as me as a teacher. And I'd unintentionally created that sort of marketing process. So that's an example, Rosalind, of how it can work. So that was 8 weeks, and I saw nothing for 7.5 weeks, and then everything in the last few days. But actually, looking back, everything I'd done for 8 weeks was really important. And if I hadn't done those things, the webinar wouldn't have worked. And I will absolutely agree with Kara. It really does kind of vary on the product and the offering, and also pinch points for people as well. Sometimes people have to be in a place where they might know you're brilliant, they might know it's worthwhile, but actually when they're in a position of pain, and their pain is acute, they buy then.
But that's one of the things that I see with a lot of my clients, is that they've done marketing in-house. They've done it first of all, if they're owner-run businesses, they start by doing the marketing themselves. Then they might bring somebody in, they might bring the wrong person in. Then they get to a point where at the pain point, and by the time I meet people, I often hear things like marketing doesn't work, or variants on it, or we've tried marketing, because they've gone through those pain points. I'm having a look. We've got quite a few other.
So Laura says, if you're evolving your business service with low risk to consider purchase, your analytics of your current traffic might not be applicable because your target market might be different. How do you know where your new potential clients actually are and what they're searching for?
The first thing I would say is get inside their heads. You're going to have to do some research and sit down and think, right, who are my potential new clients? And sketch them out, draw a profile of them, say, right, my potential new client, it's gentlemen who are aged 30 to 40, they're fitness fanatics. Where do these people hang out? And then the first thing you can do is you can find some of those people. So you might belong to some Facebook groups, you might know them amongst your family, your friends, your contacts, and say, look, I'm looking for people that fit this. This is the product I have to sell. Where do you hang out? What do you read? Who do you listen to? Which social media are you on? Do you use that? Are you on groups? Do you follow certain things? Start with the profile. And even if it's a sketchy profile, start with that and then build it up. And then what you have to do is you have to try things out. So sometimes, it'd be things like people will say, let's take the example, the 30 to 40-year-old male. It might be, well, actually, they're all busy reading one particular magazine. And then what you find out is, no, they're not really reading that magazine. What they like to do is they like to buy it because it makes them think that they're that type of person. But in reality, they aren't. So my husband's into fitness, and he doesn't have time to read magazines because he's too busy running, cycling and swimming. Basically, he doesn't have the time to sit down and read about it. He's too busy doing it. So then you kind of start to get that idea between where the people are doing something because it fits in with their mindset of who they are, whether they're actually what they're actually doing. Does that make sense, Laura? So it's kind of start with your profile, and then dig deeper, and test things at every step of the way.
That's good. I just say, I think the answer usually always is in your audience, because
Yeah.
they're the ones you want to sell to. The more you know them, and the more you understand their problem and their lifestyle, the more you can create marketing that actually makes their life better and helps them and reach them at the right time. Because basically all businesses solve problems. We get so fixated on sale, you know, we want people to buy from us, that we forget that actually we only exist to solve a problem.
Yeah.
And if you can just simply find the people that have the problem you solve, let them know that you solve it.
Yeah.
It's natural they will want to buy from you, and it helps take away that kind of icky thing you might have about marketing, like I feel uncomfortable selling, I feel uncomfortable asking people for money. If you flip it around and think, actually, I'm just solving someone's problem, how can I better solve their problem for them? It makes it slightly better.
I think the other thing to be aware of is with the buying process, is part of what your buying process should do is it should be helping people that aren't right for your business exit your buying journey.
Yes.
Again, slightly terrifying, because I mean, I always think when we first start in business, we're a little bit like Del Boy from Only Fools and Horses. You know, you flog anything to anyone to get a bit of cash in. It's like, panic. And then as you kind of grow as a business, and some business owners are really good, and they'll start out saying, "Now, actually, I want to do this type of work." I met a woman who's just started up literally 2 weeks ago. She said, "I've just turned down a piece of work, but they wanted me to do general office admin, like answering the phones and receptionist, but I'm a bookkeeper and that's what I want to do." And I'm thinking, was I nuts? It's just like, well, no, actually you're not. And in time, she will develop her buying process so people won't even approach her for general office admin, because they will know she's the bookkeeping and accounts lady.
Absolutely.
Your buying process is about helping people make the right purchase decision for them and you.
Yes, and I agree. Putting off the wrong people is. Cheryl said that's fantastic advice. I'll get to it after. Got a couple of questions. I want to make sure we cover everyone's questions. Sophie says, we find it so hard to convert leads and interest to sales. We have lots of interest, but there are lots of competitors who are a little cheaper. What tips would you have for us to encourage people to have a free trial session with us and see the difference? We teach baby and child swimming classes.
So at the trial stage, I would say I'd make it a no obligation free trial. If people are buying on price, so it's once they come in, you do have to prove it. But then you've got to think, what's the next step? So you've got them to come in for the free trial session. Then what do you give them there? Do you give them something that says, right, you know, if you sign up your first lesson, you're going to get 10% off. If you've got a minute to sign up now, here and now, if you sign up within the next 48 hours, you will get 10% off your swim. You've got to think, what's the next step? And does that help? Because you're saying there are lots of competition who are a little cheaper, which helps you for a free trial. I think the other thing is that obviously they're going through the evaluation stage. So what proof are you giving them? What proof are you giving that you're different?
I absolutely agree with that. I think often when we're in situations like that, what you want to do is remove yourself from a price comparison decision. And actually, as Kara was saying just now, there are a lot of people there who aren't your customers. If someone is merely looking for the cheapest baby and swimming classes, they're not your customer. Yeah. What you need to do is to find the people who are prepared to pay, kind of the Waitrose shoppers, and they want quality and they want something a bit special, and they're prepared to pay and they can afford to pay a bit more and to value it. And I would really look really carefully at what is your USP. Why are you more expensive? What do you offer that the cheaper ones don't? And also, as Kara was saying earlier, look at your customers. The people who do buy from you, what marks them out as different from the people who are comparing you and saying, well, you're £5 more expensive. Let's just say, I'm going to save £1 and go for them. And you want to find more of the people that will value quality over price, and then access their friends. You know, if you've got people already coming to you, how can you get to their friends, people who are like them? How can you encourage them to recommend you? I think it's more about learning the difference between the people who are buying and people who are never going to buy, and understanding why they're buying from you and why they're not going to the cheaper people, and highlighting that. So you almost do this opposite kind of marketing campaign where you put off people that you don't want, and you make sure then that maybe you're targeting a far smaller, and it's quite brave to do this, but I think it's really important. identify a niche that you serve and that other people don't serve, and then target those people. Your marketing can therefore be so much more tailored. You're not wasting money and time trying to appeal to people who are never going to buy from you. You've identified the very people who are your customers, and you can market just to them and appeal to them in the way they want to do.
I think the other thing, just to say, Sophie, as well, is that sometimes you have to educate your customers. So one of the things that I do a lot as a strategic marketing consultant is educate people about what that means I do. And it also means that I'm educating them about the difference between different types of marketers. And that's absolutely fine. And it might be that actually there's swimming classes and there's swimming classes.
And I know with swimming, having got children and had babies when they were young as well, there is a massive difference between the quality level and the whole experience also as a parent. It's not just the physical, are you teaching my child to swim, but everything that goes around that. The changing room experience, the customer service experience, all of those things. Have a look at your whole package and look at what you offer and what makes you special. And I have to say, when it comes to things like that, and I did, when my daughter was newborn, I did baby swimming with her, and I actually went to the most expensive place. And it wasn't, when we're talking, it's not hundreds of pounds difference. But, my newborn baby was incredibly precious to me, and I wanted that experience to be the best because she's never going to be newborn again. And I was prepared to spend money and I, within the realms of what I could afford for an experience I thought was the best. And I think there is something about young children that we are, if we can afford it and we've got that mindset, we are prepared to pay for better if it's proven to be better for my child.
So Helen, Lee, you said, would you say that's the same for B2B? What could you just kind of say, would I say what's the same? Is that the same as?
Where multiple people could be involved. Yeah, can you just clarify, because we talked about lots of things. So Helen, what that same to B2B where multiple people could be involved, is that in the decision, I imagine, understanding personas?
Yes, definitely. And when you're understanding a business persona, you almost have to be really clear about who you're understanding, because obviously when it's multiple people, are you talking about the person, the end user? Are you talking about the person that you're going to be liaising with, who might be a manager who's purchasing it on behalf of somebody else? Are you talking about the director? Split it down really clearly. So often when I do B2B, I start with the person that my client is liaising with the most, is going to be liaising with the most. So I've got clients that work in schools, and the person that they tend to be liaising with the most is the head teacher. However, obviously, they're selling software, and that affects the IT department. So then the IT department we put down as a key influencer, but we focus on the persona first of the head teacher, because they're the one that makes a purchase decision. They're the one that has to go to the board of governors and say, buy this. They're the one that has to go to the IT guys and say, yes, you are doing this. So we focused on them first, but then we have a really long list of significant others, and we look at those significant others too, and we grade them on who can actually put the mockers on this purchase decision. So that's great if it's the head teacher making that decision, but who are the people that can veto it? And the ones that can veto it, then we look at them in more depth. So absolutely the buying personas for B2B. But start with that one person and then look at everyone around them. Years ago, I was in a point where people were looking to buy my services, and I made the classic mistake where I went in and I thought that the manager that I'd been liaising with, who I'd taken time to build up a relationship with, had the purchasing power. And I turned up and there were two other people there. It turned out they were senior managers. They instantly didn't like me. When you walk into a room and the chemistry is just off, and you're like, oh gosh. And I thought, oh, it doesn't matter, I've got it in the bag, he likes me. And then halfway through I found out that they were the ones that were driving the purchase and that they would make the decision. And you just think, why am I here? You don't like me. You're making it very clear you don't like me. You don't like what I have to say. You don't like what I'm offering. And I was so cross with myself because then I had to carry it on through. But I thought I'd spent all that time researching and building up a rapport with the wrong person. So when I walked into the room, I was completely off bat. So please don't make my mistake. I never made that mistake again. I've always checked very hard. And the other thing in B2B is there's always a hidden person. So what I find, especially in smaller businesses, is you'll get somebody who perhaps got the title of admin support or office support. And it's really easy to think, because they don't have the title of director, or they've not been involved in all of your discussions, that they're not as key. But with my last two of my recent clients, they've both had people in their team with the title office support. And it turns out these are women who've been with them since they've set up. These are women that know everything about the business, and they aren't sitting on the board. They're not making the big decisions, but they're the women that if somebody walks through the door and they don't like them, don't have a good feeling about them, they'll say, oh, I'm not sure about Kara. Yeah, she didn't give me a good vibe. Oh, I'm not sure that what Hannah said was right. So again, when you're in B2B, look wide and look in unexpected places. So you look in unexpected places.
Excellent advice. So Sophie says, that's brilliant, thank you. I like the way that you have said about how precious your little one was. I'm exactly the same. And
I just want to, because Cheryl Crichton, did we mention Cheryl's comment?
Yeah, so let's just, so just we'll finish up here because we haven't got any more questions, and we've just gone over 12. So Cheryl says, thank you both, lovely to be here today. It's so true about different lengths of conversion windows. They could be 1 day or 6 years. I've experienced both. And to add about wasting money, AdWords is usually the first thing I turn off with customers while we work out the proper journey. Very good advice. I think because AdWords is such a familiar tool, it's a knee-jerk purchase for a marketing solution, when really spending a little time researching what else is out there and what's relevant to your customer pays dividends. 1 part planning may save 9 parts doing, so to speak. I absolutely agree. And also money invested in things that aren't useful to you or aren't going to help. So absolutely agree. If you are investing time or money or effort in anything significant in marketing right now and you haven't worked out your marketing journey, I would say pause it and do, I would highly recommend getting hold of them at Watertight Marketing book and working through it. I can't recommend it enough. I love it. But understand what your marketing journey is, then go back and look at what you're doing. Because even if you're not paying for marketing, if you're investing time in it and it's not joined up, it's not going to work. Helena, that's really helpful and gives us lots to think about. Thank you.
Great.
I hope everyone has enjoyed this. I've really enjoyed watching it. And Kara, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for your questions as well. It's been great to answer them. And yeah, best of luck with your businesses. Really, really do wish you all well.
Great. And I'm sure, because Kara is on Twitter. Can you remind me what your Twitter?
At Kara KMS.
At Kara KMS.
That's the KARAAMS.
Great. So she's off to buy the book now. So thank you. Lots of people saying thank you, and that was really interesting and helpful. Do follow. I'm sure if you've got a question about marketing and you ask Kara on Twitter, Kara, you'll be very happy to.
Yep, I will answer it, definitely.
Yeah, Kara's very lovely and very friendly and very knowledgeable, as you probably gathered.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, everybody. Yes, I am on Twitter, Carolyn, at Kara KMS. So, yeah, do find me, follow me on Twitter.
Yeah,
be great.
Do and go and find out. Thank you ever so much, everyone. Have a lovely, it looks here it's nice and sunny. I'm going off to yoga soon, so have a lovely afternoon, everybody. And I will send out the recording very shortly, so anyone here can watch it back. And I know there were lots of people who registered who can't make it. So enjoy yoga. Thank you very much. I will enjoy.
Right. Thank you. Take care, everyone. Goodbye.
Bye.